Good afternoon and welcome back to Huskins Field for Game 2 of the doubleheader between the Tufts Jumbos and the Bowdoin Polar Bears. We've got Polar Bears, and first pitch is Bernie Birnbaum, joined with Ben Shapiro with Game 2. And as we get settled in, we'll fill you in on the lineups as Jew takes a big swing and a miss for strike 2. Starting pitcher for the Jumbos in Game 2 is Tim Saperko. And he deals low and away. And the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And we've got one away to kick off Game 2. That one swung out. He was way out ahead of him.
Yeah, we're going to want to see the Jumbos continue the momentum from that last game. It was a big win. It was a necessary win, and they're going to look to just repeat more of the same right now.
Up next is Lopez, who takes strike 1. He was the starting pitcher in the first game. Was roughed up uncharacteristically.
Definitely. Lopez was rocked pretty well in the first 2 innings and was taken out.
Right, he skies one to right here. Camped under it is the right fielder, and Cooch has put it away. Yeah, well, Lopez is really a hybrid player. He's in center field today in the Game 2, and he's one of the best batters and typically the best starting pitcher, even though he got roughed up earlier. Colby Junkus is batting third and catching as Spurko looks to start off this one with a 1-2-3 inning. First pitch taken inside, not inside, that's a called strike 1, and Spurko's gotten called strikes 1 on every batter so far. Bounces one in the dirt, 1-1. Taken for ball 2 now. We've got a 2-1 count. First time Spurko's been behind on a batter. Jonkus hoping to be the first base runner. Swings, fouls it straight back. After Jonkus, we have Dumont, LaPointe, Billings, Mulaney, Gentile, Suski, and Ma. That's the order for the Polar Bears in Game 2. Jonkus catching. Spurko getting ready here for the 2-2 pitch. 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. 1-2-3 inning for Spurko. And the no runs, no hits, no errors, none left bases, 2 strikeouts and a flyout. Induced by Spurko.
Definitely good to see a fast first inning right here. The first inning last game took a little while, and I know the Jumbos want to get right through the Polar Bears pretty fast and get ahead right now.
So the lineup, the batting order for the Jumbos in Game 2, not too different, but there might be some changes. We've got Petrie leading off, followed by Cooch, O'Hara, Foxen, McLaughlin, Nachmanoff, Brown. The main difference is Schnepf is going to catch, bat 8th, and Shackelford at short, batting 9th. So Petrie, Cooch, O'Hara, and well, you were here for Game 1 on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I could look at my phone. I was sort of following, but what can you tell us about the way the top of the order produced in Game 1?
Yeah, I mean, just right off the bat in the first inning, the Jumbos were really working the lineup. The pitch count ran up super high on the Polar Bears, which obviously was not a good thing to see for them. And ultimately, Bowdoin, it fell apart for them. The pitch count got a little too high, and the runs just kept racking up. And the Jumbos, of course, are going to want to continue to do more of that and just stay in the game early on.
Now, these games important, of course, in the NESCAC East standings. Tufts currently sitting in second behind Bates. That's a team they'll face next weekend. We'll be bringing you just the Friday game. Saturday is Spring Fling, so I think most of the JumboCast staff is going to be partying it up, not with T-Pain, but with some other talented guests.
Metro Boomin, he will be there in attendance.
But Friday afternoon, we'll have that game with Bates, and that's going to be a big showdown and will go a long way to determining first place in the NESCAC East. We're almost ready for the bottom of the first. Field is going to be playing a little slow. We had some rain during the first game. If you joined us, you probably missed out on a lot of camera work. Ben was prepared to give you all 7 innings.
I was, but had to cut it short. It was a little wet, and not only was the camera in danger, but I was fairly cold. So
no rain in the forecast for the remainder of the afternoon, but those are famous last words. And we've got Petrie leading off, facing Vogel Friedman, starter for Bowdoin. First pitch and an interesting sidearm motion. We're going to be looking at that from the lefty, taken for a strike. Here's the 0-1, taken inside. Working quickly, and we've got a 1-1 pitch, grounded towards the gap, and that's going to be through for a base hit up the middle.
Went right past the pitcher, right past the second baseman. That's the kind of contact we want to see here.
And those are the kind of balls that it's going to be tough to single on in this game with the field playing slow, but just so far into no man's land. Even though it was a slow-moving ball, no infielder could get to it. Vogel Friedman, who's given up the leadoff single, comes into the day with a 2.16 ERA, 1-1 win-loss record, and 25 innings pitched. Very good strikeouts to walks ratio, 22-4. As Cooch digs in from the lefty batter's box. Man already on first. Takes 0-1. Cooch came into the afternoon with a 400 batting average, not too shabby. Swings, skies one to right field. Zhu is under it. He fights it and he drops it. It's on the warning track and Zhu is down. The runners advanced to second and third respectively, and Zhu just lost that one against the gray sky.
Yeah, one of the big problems for the Polar Bears in the last game, especially in center field, was just catching those far balls into the outfield, and the trouble continues right now.
And that goes up as a hit. But I got to say, that looked pretty catchable. So quick jam for Vogel Friedman. Second and third, no out in the top of the bottom of the first. Tommy O'Hara, power hitter for Tufts, comes into the day with 2 homers.
Yeah, he's an imposing figure. Just looking at him, he's pretty tall, and this pitcher is going to try to get it right in the strike zone.
Junior. That's fouled. We'll actually bring the count to 0-2 and miss that first pitch for you. Or just 0-1. Not sure who's having an off afternoon, whether it's me or the scoreboard operator here. 0-2. I think we'll settle on that. 0-2 pitch to O'Hara. Looked at the knees, and it's a called strike. So it was 0-1. I'm not really sure what's going on here. 0-2 pitch, not the kind of pitch that you would have looked at on a 2-strike count, so it makes a little bit sense. But an 0-2 hole, it's O'Hara. Looks at that one, probably outside. So 1-2. Scoreboard operator, umpire, commentators, all on the same page now. Petrie leads off third, Cooch off second. No outs in the bottom of the first. 1-2 taken high, 2-2. Foxen is in the on-deck circle. Foxen rocking a 402 batting average coming into the day. That's 39 hits and 97 at-bats. That's a lot. O'Hara swings through with a 2-2 pitch, so the first batter retired for the Jumbos. That'll take a little bit of the pressure off Vogel-Friedman.
Yeah, that was a big swing. I'm pretty sure he was expecting to get a knock at that one, but completely missed the ball, and hopefully we will see better results from him when he's up next. Big hitter for the Jumbos.
Well, it's early in the game, and so the batters are seeing Vogel-Friedman for the first time, just trying to figure him out. First pitch comes in for a strike. Vogel-Friedman is a junior, so some of the more experienced Tufts players have probably seen him before in past seasons. It sets 1-0 pitch, grounded to the second baseman. He's not going to have a play anywhere. And the run comes in, first run of the game. Cooch almost got caught up, taking a big lead off of taking a big turn around third, but Jumbos are on the board. Infield single for Foxen. And a good start for the home crowd.
The left fielder, number 31, Mike McLaughlin.
That'll bring up McLaughlin, the left fielder. Batting .342 on the season. He's got first and third, 1 out. 1 run in the inning already. Vogel-Friedman now with the double play option delivers. McLaughlin holds his swing. Weak grounder, foul. That'll bring the count to 0-2.
A lot of noise coming from the Jumbo dugout. They seem excited this hot start so far.
Yeah, a few runs here could quickly turn the tide of the game. That one screamed down. Hits the fence on the right field sideline, foul. If that had cleared the fence marking the boundary between the ballpark and the parking lot, we might have had a dented windshield. But alas, McLaughlin holds his swing again. 1-2. It's Cooch on third, Foxen on first. Cooch not being held on closely, not taking a particularly big lead either. Foxen's being held on. Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2-2. It may appear center fielder appears to be playing shallow, but I think it's more a factor of the deep dimensions of the ballpark. When it goes all the way back to 410, it's going to look pretty shallow when the center fielder plays straight up.
Yeah, this is definitely a deep ballpark. I mean, compared to our hometown Fenway Park over here, the dimensions here are definitely harder to play in some of those MLB fields.
2-2 swung on, got under it, fouled it back into the parking lot. Bounced off a couple cars, but no major damage. And the fences aren't particularly short either. It's hard to get one out of here. It's a 2-2 to McLaughlin. And he's punched out. That one looked high and outside to me. I think McLaughlin agrees, but 2 strikeouts now on the inning for Vogel-Friedman and a chance to get out of the inning with just 1 run. Knockman off the DH comes up. Checks the runner at first. Foxen is in safely. Malcolm Nachmanoff looks in. First pitch of the at-bat. Taken for a strike. We've got one of these sort of delayed reaction umpires going this afternoon. Always gets on my nerves a little bit. I gotta hold my calls until it's quite clear exactly what it's going to be.
He's probably having to think about these little too.
0-1 to Nachmanoff. That's clearly high. 1-1. Nachmanoff awaits the 1-1. Vogelsong sets pitches outside, 2-1. Brown, Schnepp, and Shackelford round out the batting order. 2 up after Nachmanoff. There's a pitch taken for strike 2. At some point, Nachmanoff might want to get the bat off his shoulder.
Yeah, it would be pretty embarrassing to see him watching, but I expect him to take a hack right now.
Vogel Freeman checks the runner at first. Foxen back in safely. Not even having to dive. A 2-2. It's punched out. 3 strikeouts on the inning for Vogel Freeman. Works around a leadoff single, a long double, and an infield single. Only giving up 1 run on 3 hits. No errors. Well, one that might have been close. 2 men left on base. And after 1, the Jumbos lead 1-0.
Yeah, it's good to see the Jumbos get some hits early on. I think they're going to want to continue to keep this momentum going. Unfortunately, a little strikeout heavy in that first inning, but as they take the field, they're going to want to continue to keep Bowdoin at 0 runs, 0 hits, and we'll see what happens.
Defensive alignment for you in a second that we missed in our hurry to get onto the air in the top of the first. Superco had the 1-2-3 inning in the first. He'll look to keep up the success here in the second. So here's the defensive alignment for the Jumbos from left to right in the outfield. We've got McLaughlin, Brown, and Cooch. The infield from left to right, O'Hara, Shackelford, Petrie, and Foxen. And the battery is made up of Schnepp, Catching, Superco. Due up for Bowdoin in the second, Dumont, LaPointe, Billings, and Mulaney. Dumont, LaPointe ready for the first pitch of the inning. Takes it low for ball 1. On the point with a .268 batting average on the season coming into today. Takes low 2-0. Spurco behind early.
Little catcher-pitcher meeting going on here.
There's a 2-0. Swung on, line through the middle for a base hit. Grounded into center field. Brown relays it in. And Bowdoin's got their first hit and their first base runner leading off the second inning. It's a clean single.
Yeah, big swing of the bat there. That line drive totally cleared the Jumbo fielders, and right into the outfield it went. Another imposing figure, the Bowdoin DH.
Yeah, Billings at bat now. .327 batting average. Runner checked at first. Dumont LaPointe in safely. This is the start a conversation when the less going on. First pitch taken for a ball high, and so far the 4 pitches in the inning have been 3 balls and a single. Spurko going to need to find the grip he had in the first inning. Wind blowing out and left. Fouled back. Counts 1-1. You can see the flag out there. Blowing basically straight out towards left field. That could help some balls get out of here. That might ordinarily stay in the park. Spurko deals with the 1-1. Taken. 2-1. Jumbo dugout looking for a double play here. Spurko behind in the count, 2-1. Infield playing straight up. And it counts work to 3-1. Billings being very patient at the plate. And Spurko needs to throw some strikes.
Yeah, this umpire is really being strict at that strike zone. Is not making the pitcher happy.
You know, as long as you call it evenly. 3-1's big swing. Works the count full.
On a high pitch, too. He's expecting something low.
Yeah, that would have been ball 4. But it's a mind game. Spurko not looking to give the DH anything to hit. Full count. Checks the runner at first. He's in safely. Not a huge lead off of first for Dumont LaPointe. He's been getting secondary leads as well. 3-2 deal. Swung on a miss. Strike 3. Billings will take a seat. 3 strikeouts in the afternoon for Spurko. And actually, 6 of the 7 outs now in the game across both sides have come via strikeout.
Yeah, I think after the first game where the Jumbos really ran up the score high on the board, both teams are looking to swing big, and it's going to result in some strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, these are quality baseball players here in the NESCAC, one of the, top D3 conferences. As first pitch of the at-bat, grounded to short, no play at second, out at first. And the fielder's choice. So Mulaney, the shortstop, moves Dumont LaPointe over to second.
A little bit of a high throw, but the first baseman's pretty tall, so he was able to get that with ease.
Yeah, that's a factor of the slow field we've got this afternoon. On a bright sunny day, that's probably a double play, but Shackelford, by the time it got to him, no play at second. It was actually even a close play at first, but out by a step. So you've got 2 away now. Dumont LaPointe leading off second. Taking lone away. Until playing left field, batting 7th today. Spurko looking for a chance to work around a leadoff single, get out of the inning unscathed. 1-0 pitch. Fouled back over the Bowdoin bleachers.
The tying run at second base right now, he's looking to get all the way home on a hopefully far single for him.
We do see center fielder playing a little deeper for Tufts than the Bowdoin fielder was on the first and third situation. This one I missed. We got 1 and 2 now. Gentile trying to make something happen. That was a swing for an RBI. Head in the count now. Rare position for Spurko in this inning. 1 and 2. Checks the runner at second, delivers. Swung on, just a absolute whiff, and that'll end the inning.
A light swing, he was definitely unsure of that one, and rightfully so.
Yeah, just one of the weaker waves, and on the inning, 2 strikeouts for Spurko, 1 hit, no errors, no runs, none just the one runner left on base. And we've got a pitcher duel here. 4 strikeouts for Spurko through 2, 3 for Vogel Friedman as he takes the mound in the bottom of the second. So for Tufts in the bottom of the second, due up, we've got Brown, Schnepf, and Shackelford, 7, 8, 9 in the order. And what I was going to say in the middle of the inning, which I held off, is, you know, I'm curious what your impressions are. I assume this is some of the first D3 baseball action you're getting to see, and I'm curious what your initial impressions are.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of the first few college baseball and NESCAC games I've seen, and I'm definitely play, especially in the major leagues. You see pitchers really get rocked early on, and relievers consistently having trouble. But these NESCAC players consistently stay in, with the exception of the starter in the last game for Bowdoin. But these pitchers really know what they're doing. What I'm not seeing a lot of is defensive shifts. Maybe it's because the batters don't hit to one side or another, really, but the defense is a consistent spot. So, I'd like to see a little bit more defensive action going on here today.
Brown digs in a lead off the bottom of the second. That's bounced in there. Well, what I've been surprised about, and this is just, our broadcasting position right here on top of the Tufts dugout, is relatively little in terms of scouting, is big swing through a 1-0 pitch from Brown, 1-1 now. And, hear the players chattering. I'll sometimes one will come up into the booth and I'll ask, who's starting, between games of a doubleheader, and they might not even know. As Brown skies it foul down the right baseline. Off the Bowdoin bus, actually, but no damage. And it's actually, reminiscent of Little League. When they're seeing these pitchers, they're often seeing them for the first time, want to see what he's got, how fast he's throwing, what kind of movement it is. And he's hitting the knee, and that's going to send Brown down to first. After an initial grimace, he's jogs down to first base. He seems fine.
Anything to get on base, barring injury.
But you will see when a new pitcher's warming up, half the Tufts batters out on the grass, timing them. That's something I don't think you typically see in the major leagues because the word's already out.
Yeah, especially when there's a lot of data, too, on these pitchers.
Schnepf swings and fouls off the first pitch of the at-bat.
Yeah, I wonder how much data the coaches have on these opposing teams, and especially the pitchers.
Well, we can look down below us and we see there's various hitting charts and pitching charts, but it's all manual. It's not like there's a central database they're working with. Schnepf takes outside 1-1. Anyway, we've got a runner on first. That's Brown, who was hit by a pitch to lead off the inning. Called strike 2 to Schnepf, who falls behind 1-2. Standard lead for Brown off of first. Swung on, grounded through the third baseman and into left field. And we'll wait to see what that scored. It really came up quickly on Dumont LaPointe over at third. Able to hit. May be a little bit of a home field scorer's advantage there. That's the second sort of borderline hit that's been called.
Looked like an error to me, but that play over in right field and this play right here, we're not seeing the best defense from Bowdoin right now. It's something I'm sure they want to clear up very fast.
Yeah, when I took a look at some of the numbers in the Bowdoin defense last night, nothing too special. Shackelford swings and misses on the first pitch. Fielding percentages in the mid to low 90s across the infield, and that sounds pretty good, on an exam. But when you want your fielding percentages to be pretty high 90s, if not perfect. And Shackelford threatens a bunt. That's fouled. He's in an 0-2 hole now. After him, top of the lineup again, Petrie, Cooch, and O'Hara. Petrie and Cooch both had hits, a single and a double, respectively, to start off the game.
No outs for the Jumbos, and they definitely are looking to get to home on this play, running on that foul pretty hard.
Here's the 0-2. Swung on, lined into center, right center. That's going to fall and go all the way to the wall. Not quite to the wall, but that's a stand-up double. That'll bring home 2 runs easily, and the Jumbos are up 3-0.
Just as I predicted, and of course I didn't foresee the center fielder mishandling that one, but some more unfortunate defense. 2 runs in for the Jumbos, a big double.
The second baseman, number 3.
And this is a case of Huskin Field just playing deep. In most ballparks, many ballparks even in the majors, that one's at the wall, but it's just in no man's land between right and center, and Lopez eventually got to it, but not before the 2 runners were well on their way home.
Lopez, the center fielder, might be a little distraught from his start in the first game, but maybe he'll do a little better in the outfield right now.
Petrie up now, takes high, 1-0. Second time in the game in the first inning, he singled to center. Came around to score on the RBI infield single by Foxen. And takes 1-1. The women's basketball contingent has left. They were here during game 1, from what I understand. 1-1. Swung on. That's sent high to center field. Right field, rather. And that one's missed again. In and out of the glove of Jew in right.
Yeah, I think
Shackelford had to wait to see if that was going to be caught, so he's stuck at third. That one's finally called an error.
Yeah, Jumbos are definitely finding a consistent strategy. Hit it far and just hope the outfielders will misplay it, as they have a few times so far. The score is 3-0.
And some sloppy fielding. You know, it's not going to reflect well on Vogel Friedman's ERA, but arguably all of the runs could have been unearned. Biggs in had the double to right in the first. Takes low, 2-1.
Still 0 outs. It's pretty remarkable. Jumbos are really getting up on the board, and there's nothing stopping them so far.
I think that ought to be 1-0. The scoreboard operator might be a little slow today, but there we go, 1-0. That's 1-1. Umpire taking his precious time to call that one. So second and third, still no outs. 2 runs already home on 2 hits and an error. 3 hits and an error. Cooch on the 1-1, pops it up on the infield. Should be easily playable for the shortstop under it, and that's 1 out.
Had to reach a little bit back to get that one, but a defensive play not messed up this time.
A little frustration in your voice.
You know, I want to see some good defense here on both sides. That's what makes a baseball game, and the batting and the pitching too.
Those are a lot of the things in baseball. That's I'd have to agree with you there. O'Hara now up, trying to avenge a strikeout in the first. He's got a couple runners in scoring position to add to his RBI total. Coming into today, his RBI total was 22. Not sure if he got any in that first game. Swung on, bounced to the jumbo dugout.
Another big swing. He's definitely trying to bring both runners home.
Still a fairly close ball game, but one big swing of the bat could really break this one open early. 1-1, taken high. O'Hara in a hitter's count now.
The wind blowing a little harder. If you can see the flag over there in left field, this one could help propel a ball out.
2-1 pitch. Swung on, sent high and deep into left field, under it. And that's a long fly out caught by Gentile. Had a chance. He was at the edge of the warning track.
A good effort by the Jumbos right here in this inning.
And the decent portion of the Jumbo's dugout comes out to greet O'Hara after the long fly out. So 2 away now. Sacrifice fly. Dropped the ball on that one, so that brought home the run.
The win just was not enough.
Shackelford scores. Jumbos lead 4-0. First pitch of the at-bat taken low by Foxen. Want to know now. Take it. Petrie's at third, not being held. Free to take a decently sized lead, provided he scrambles back after the pitch. 2-0, taken for a strike. Vogel Friedman has definitely been struggling to find the strike zone, but it's not really his biggest issue at the moment, as Foxen calls time. It's more that he's offering up some juicy ones that Jumbo hitters have taken advantage of, to the tune of 4 runs, 5 hits, and an error.
Yeah, and the outfield has been of no help to his ERA today.
2-1 to Foxen. That was an off-speed pitch taken for a strike. Not something he was ever going to hit. Chance to get out of the inning now for Vogel Friedman. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, strike 3, and the inning is over. But the damage is done. Tufts 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, leaving 1 man left on base. And after 2, Tufts is up 4-0. So we look ahead to the top of the third. We're going to see Susky, Ma, and Ju. That's 8-9-1 in the Bowdoin order. Spurko only allowed 1 base runner through 2. It seems like it's been longer than just 2 innings. Tufts has really drawn out the bottom halves, getting through 13 batters already in 2 frames.
Yeah, this is the same strategy the Jumbos ran in the first game in this doubleheader. They really ran up the pitch count. They got the pitcher tired, and the runs came in droves. And we're going to be seeing more of that, I assume, in the 3rd inning. But for now, the Jumbos take the field to prevent Bowdoin from getting on the board for the first time.
Ben Susky, the first baseman, digs in, takes high, ball 1. Start off the 3rd. One and 0 on the way, low, 2-0. Spurko behind on the batter. Would be good for Spurko here to get a couple outs at the bottom of the order before seeing the top again. But he's behind 3-0, and that'll lead to a conversation at the mound between him and Schnepf.
Jumbo outfielder is definitely farther back than Bowdoin has been in the past 2 innings. The infield as well. They're expecting a big hit.
And that's a 4-pitch walk. For the 2nd inning, Bowdoin has the leadoff man on. this time via the base on balls. And for a sparkling first inning, Spurko showing some signs of imperfection, let's just say. Checks the runner at first.
A slow check, too. I mean, the runner didn't dive at all. He was pretty much there to begin with.
Ma, the number 9 hitter, shows bunt, takes first strike. It's early in the game, so even down 4, playing a little small ball isn't necessarily the worst strategy, but one would think Bowdoin's going to need to score in bunches to stay in this one. Checks the runner.
Second baseman and shortstop out by the grass, even though showing signs of a bunt.
Grounded down to second, could be 2. Over to short for 1, on to first, not in time. Fielder's choice. 1 away for the Jumbos.
Yeah, on a sunny day, that would have been an easy double play, but again, very close at first base.
So we're seeing a replacement now. The PA announcer failed to get that out, but we've got a pinch hitter for Jew. It's going to be Bjorn Hansen. Relatively rare to see a defensive replacement this early in the game, but after a couple miscues in right, Jew's being replaced by Bjorn Hansen. Hansen awaiting the 0-1 pitch. Looks at that one, it's 0-2. Runner in first, 1 out for Hansen. Fouled back. And was that a thud I heard, Lucas?
I believe that did hit the roof of a car, but no big damage apparent.
There are warnings at the entrance to the parking lot. Park at your own risk. So another 0-2 pitch coming to Hansen. That's bounced from the dirt. Runner holds. Smothered by Schnepp. Hansen, the senior out of Excelsior, Minnesota. Awaits the 1-2. Taken. Close call inside. 2-2.
Definitely looked like a strike to me, one that was needed, but alas, not for the umpire.
We do not have the best angle compared to the umpire.
That is true. Our angle here is spotty at best.
2-2 fouled back. Yeah, it's basically what you see on the camera is what we're looking at here. I'm within an arm's length to the camera to the left of me, so.
Another big foul. He's swinging for it.
Well, he gets relatively few opportunities, so got to make the most. 2-2 again. Swung on, strike 3.
And we will see him back in the field as a defensive replacement.
Perhaps. We don't know necessarily what sort of machinations head coach Mike Connolly has in store after Jew's fielding adventures, but yes, I would expect the same.
The center fielder, number 21, Brandon Lopez.
So Brandon Lopez, the center fielder in this one. Flat out to right in the first inning. Takes high and away. So again, Spurko giving up a leadoff base runner as a chance to work around that to get 3 consecutive outs afterwards. 1-0 pitch, swung on, big swing, 1-1. Delta Lopez fouled on the ground. I think it hit his foot as well. Looks like that one dove on him. We've got the 1-2 pitch on the way. Ma leading off at first. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, fouled back. Wow, that one hit a car and it bounced backwards. My view's blocked by a truck, but the angle that one came off, that one might have caused some serious damage. It's always that fun little mini game to watch the fouls. 1-2 here. Swung on, waved at, strike 3. Spur with another 2 strikeouts. He's up to 6 on the afternoon. Gets through 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base in the inning. And we got Spurko pitching a gem. Lots of pitches, but a lot of good work.
Definitely a little confusion with the scoreboard. It does read 1 hit. There are no hits.
No, there was a hit to lead off the second.
My bad. There was. No hits in that.
Dumont LaPointe had that clean single through the center field gap.
Indeed. Bowdoin takes the field again, and the outfielder, at first glance, does appear to be shallow, but this could just be for the warm-ups. So
I'd expect that. Can we tell, though, if it's Hansen out there still? That's the piece that I want to.
he is still a little too far to tell.
And he turns. That's a
number
26.
20,
Yeah,
26.
so that's Hansen out there replacing Jew.
I will be keeping a close eye on his defense.
Please do. I'm sure Coach Connolly will be as well. For the Jumbos in the bottom of the third, McLaughlin, Nachmanoff, and Brown do up. McLaughlin and Nachmanoff had back-to-back strikeouts looking in the first to end a major threat.
Leading off for the Jumbos in the bottom of the third inning, the left fielder, number 31, Mike McLaughlin.
If I do remember correctly, he did strike out in his last at bat, and that was a tough one for him. He did not seem pleased with that final call.
Well, first pitch grounded to short, so no strikeouts here. Over to first for the quick ground out.
The designated hitter, number 7, Malcolm Nachmanoff.
And that's the first time Vogel Friedman has gotten the leadoff batter. Chance to have a little bit more of a calm inning. Nachmanoff also struck out looking in the first. Takes a look at strike 1. There's the 0-1 pitch to Nachmanoff. Looked out low. 1-1. One pitch, swung on, sky to center. Lopez moving back on it, and he gets there. Almost at the warning track, but he had that one tracked the whole way, and probably the cleanest outfielding we've seen from the Polar Bears this afternoon.
A far hit. He had to run back, definitely. Some shallow fielding there from the center fielder, but he did get to it.
And didn't think we'd be saying this soon, but a chance for a 1-2-3 inning now for Vogel Friedman after giving up 1 and 3 runs respectively. Here's the first pitch to Brown. Swung on, grounded, over to short. Mullaney can't handle it cleanly, and that'll let Brown reach.
Bounced right up his body, right up his arm, and was not able to make the play in time.
And that's the second error of the afternoon against Bowdoin. By all accounts, should have been a 1-2-3 inning, and Vogel Friedman is just not getting backed up with clean defense.
In the major leagues, defense is definitely something taken for granted, but here in collegiate baseball, it is not always.
Though this has been a fairly exceptional series of innings. Runner is checked, throw gets away, and that'll send Brown to second and all the way over to third. And the pickoff attempt ended up all the way in the Tufts bullpen, and that lets Brown get all the way to third, and sloppiness all around. That's going to go up as another error.
The unfortunate layout of the field did not help. There's kind of a little nook back there that it snuck into. If it was a continuous wall, it would have been maybe one base stolen.
I'm not sure if that's going to be ruled an error against the pitcher or the first baseman, but nonetheless, 2 errors have gotten Brown to third. First pitch swung on, gets to second baseman, pitcher covering, and that'll end the inning.
Definitely a good end by the pitcher there, but he was not able to get that seemingly easy 1-2-3 inning.
Yeah, so Vogel Friedman robbed of a 1-2-3 inning, but works around the error, a couple of errors, to get a clean inning for the first time so far. So no runs, no hits, 2 errors, and 1 man left on base in the inning. Through 3, 4-0 to the Jumbos.
And if I am correct, this is a 7-inning.
You're incorrect.
Incorrect. This is a 9-inning game. The
Yes.
first one was 7 innings.
Yeah, the format of the conference doubleheaders is, since these are the games that really count, not that they don't all count, but the games that really count within the conference, they do a 1-7 and 1-9, whereas the out-of-conference doubleheaders, they play both 7. And the idea with having the 7-inning game first is that should the 7-inning game be tied after 7 and go into so-called extras into an 8th or 9th inning, then the second game would become the shortened one. So had we seen a tied game through 7 early in the afternoon, this would have been limited to 7. But alas, this is going to be a real baseball game.
Of course. And since it is a real baseball game of 9 innings, the Polar Bears do appear to be getting a little tired with their pitching and their fielding, and there are many more innings to go. They are hoping to recover and get a run in for the first time.
Leading off for Bowdoin in the top of the 4th inning, the catcher, number 33, Colby Junkus.
Spurko right. Colby Junkus digs in for Bowdoin. He struck out to end the first inning. Up for the second time now. Take slow. Meanwhile, over in Queens, the Mets have just gotten underway against the Nationals. I'm a bit partial to the Mets myself, so I might be providing some periodic updates on that for the benefit of our cameraman Lucas, if no one else. 2-0 now. The count to Colby Junkus. This one's skied to center. Moving back on it is Brown. Under it, 1 away.
Easy play, little running. That is some good outfield defense from the Jumbos.
Can be pretty tough to tell exactly how, from a commentator's perspective, how to read some of these fly balls just with the deep outfield we have. First pitch to Dumont LaPointe, swung on and missed. Dumont LaPointe singled for the Polar Bears' only hit, leading off the second. A 1, looked at, inside, 1-1. Swung on. Got to think he was fooled by that one. came in right around the ankles. Must have taken a dive on the way in. The 1-2 pitch now. A chance to retire. The only man that's gotten hit on him. Spurko will take an extra beat. Here's a 1-2 pitch, swung on, fouled, and we'll try it again. Spurko works a little bit slower than his counterpart. Have a sizable gap between pitches. Here's the 1-2 taken high, 2-2. I think with finals, tests, and things all around the corner, nobody here is in any particular urgency to get back to that. I think as long as we can be playing baseball, that's everybody's first choice. It's lined, just fouled on the left field line. I'm glad that landed foul. It would have been pretty embarrassing to me if I hadn't called that one appropriately. Had it landed fair to say that would have been double at least. But Dumont LaPointe facing 2-2 now for the second time. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming. That one swung, checked down to first, and the first base umpire says he went. I think he went too.
Looked like a swing to me.
That's one of the few pieces that we actually have quite a great angle on, is whether the batters are breaking the plane. Very close, but Dumont LaPointe was fooled, and he'll take a seat. So the designated hitter, Billings, comes up. Spurko has a chance to get a 1-2-3 inning. This one popped up sky high, called by the third baseman, and a 1-2-3 inning. O'Hara with the pop out, with the put out rather. So very nice 1-2-3 inning for Spurko, but one minor detraction from him. That's the first inning where he hasn't gotten 2 strikeouts. Had only the 1.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the momentum for him is stopping, though, but it is definitely something to keep an eye on as we are moving almost at the halfway point in the game.
So no runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base in the inning. 2 up for Tufts in the 4th. It's 9-1-2. Shackelford, who had a 2 RBI double, followed by Petrie and Cooch. Petrie's 1 for 2 on the day, so was Cooch. So some third time through the order, and some folks that have already demonstrated some power against Vogel Friedman, who remains in the game into the 4th.
Leading off for the Jumbos in the bottom of the 4th inning, the shortstop, Bill Shackelford.
Chorus of chatter rises from the Tufts dugout. Shackelford faces the first pitch, takes it for a strike. Second pitch loops in there for called strike 2, and Shackelford's behind. It's hard to tell without the center field camera angle and some of those advanced stuff, the way some of these pitches move. The 0-2 comes in high at the eye level. So it's a lot of guesswork sometimes when we say whether there's movement or if it's a changeup or fastball, but you know, can usually tell by the way hitters react, and sometimes the movement's just so wacky. That time it's grounded over to third. Dumont LaPointe shoots over to first baseman, his foot comes off, and the runner will be safe. Suski could not handle the wide throw.
Yeah, these leadoff batters have definitely presented a challenge for Bowdoin, and I mean, just in practice before this inning, the third baseman had a tough time getting the ball over to the first baseman, and in real play, it was difficult again.
Scorer has called that one an error. It's the 4th official error. Could easily have been the 6th, and this is some leading defense is what we're seeing. A bunt attempted by Petrie goes foul. I think he was trying to scoot it up the first baseline where Susky is holding the runner on, therefore not coming in. With the bag over at third. So here's Petrie now with the 0-1. That one loops in for called strike 2. It's good for Vogelsong that he can throw something that's moving like that for a strike, because it's not something hitters are going to want to take a crack at unless they really have to. Shackelford back into first. 0-2 to Petrie. Taken outside, ball 1. Ogle Freeman sets. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, grounded to third. Could be 2. Over to second for the out. On to first. We're not in time. Throw gets away, but is backed up by the catcher. So fielder's choice. Petrie reaches. Shackelford erased.
The right fielder, number 13, Oscar Cooch.
And we're seeing the field conditions again, but I think that one was turnable even as is.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was just came down to the defense again.
Not the quickest throw from Ma, and it bounced over Suski. So Cooch now takes ball 1. He comes to bat with Petrie on first and 1 out. (1-0). Check swing foul. Kutch was not trying to swing at that, but came inside and hit his bat anyway. A little bit of a break for Vogel Friedman. He's actually within a sharply hit ground ball of getting out of this. The way the field's been playing, nobody's going to count on that. Here's 1-1. Taken low. Hitters count for Oscar Kutch. Taken for a called strike. Jumbo's hitters been patient the second and third time through the order. Here's a 2-2. Runners going. This one's going to be fielded in fair territory by the first baseman who tags the runner. And Petrie will move to second.
Definitely interesting fielding by the first baseman. That ball definitely would have rolled foul if he had not touched it.
You think?
I think so, but he was able to get to the runner in time. If the runner was behind him, I think he would have let it roll foul.
He did field it a foot or two into fair territory. I think getting a safe out, gets to a 2-out situation. Do have the runner on second, and O'Hara lines one to second under the glove of Ma. That'll bring Petrie around to score, and O'Hara's in with an RBI single.
Good hit for the Jumbos, right past the shortstop again and into the outfield.
O'Hara with his second RBI of the day.
The first baseman, number 32, Nick.
Some aggressive hitting.
A 5-0 lead right now. I do anticipate a pitching change next inning, but you can never be sure with these managers' minds.
First pitch called strike. It's Foxen now. Foxen had an RBI infield single in the first inning, struck out in the second. Comes up now with runner on first and 2 outs. Called strike. Vogel Friedman can escape the inning, giving up just 1 run. That one's smacked to second base. Easy out at short, and the inning's over. But not a clean inning. 1 run on 1 hit. There was an error and 1 man left on base. So 5-0 Jumbo's lead after 4. And it hasn't been one sort of devastating inning yet for Bowdoin, but it's starting to get out of hand. You can come back from a 5-run deficit, but you're going to start to have to work the counts against Spurco. Get to the bullpen that's presumably not going to be dealing as much as Spurco is, only 1 hit through 4. And find ways to keep Jumbos off base. Starts with defense, you got to think.
It does. In practice, a throw from third base way over the first baseman's head, reminiscent of what recently happened to Bowdoin in the last inning. But this gradual punching attack by Tufts is working out well for them. Just, few runs here and there, just gradually racking up the score. And right now it's a 5-0 lead, and they are not looking to sacrifice that anytime soon.
And Spurco's only faced 2 above the minimum through 4. Has thrown a lot of pitches. Those Bowdoin hitters are working at bats pretty well. Not a lot to show for it, though. Mulaney grounded into a fielder's choice in the second. Heaves up now. He's one of the few Bowdoin fielders, probably along with Gentile and left, that isn't guilty of some sort of fielding miscue yet today. And takes outside 1-0 to start the inning. Pitch looked at, 2-0. And as good as Spurco's been, you'd think he'd be cruising along a bit better if he could just stop falling behind in counts. That stellar first inning, he didn't fall behind at all, and he's fallen behind to, I think, most batters since then, as he gets one in there, called strike, 2-1. And he's only given up 2 base runners. But deep counts have really made it feel like more of a struggle than you'd look at on the line score. 2-1 pitch. Taken high, 3-1, and this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's definitely falling behind, and it's happening time and time again, but with good defense and getting strikes when needed, he has yet to allow a run.
Well, he started off the 3rd inning with a 4-pitch walk. 5-pitch walk dealt to Mulaney to start off the 5th. Third base runner for the Polar Bears. That brings up Gentile. I'm corrected by the PA announcer. He's, as I mentioned, the other Bowdoin fielder that is not particularly guilty of any egregious mistakes. He grounds it to second rather. Time for 2, there's time for 2. Even with the slow field, Jumbo's managed to turn 2. That's going to go 4-6-3. And special props to Shackelford with the turn, really needing every second and getting it.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice double play. And Definitely some more opportunities earlier in the game for that sort of action, but it's good to see one finally completed.
Well, it's been Bowdoin with most of the chances.
That is true.
And the story so far is inadequate fielding, so Jumbo's showing him how it's done. Here's Susky, the first baseman, who reached on a walk and was erased on a fielder's choice. He's ahead 2-0, but Spurko now working with 2 men away. Swung on, big hack. 2-1. Starting to see a little bit of brightening in the atmosphere. I don't think the sun is going to peek out anytime soon, but the cloud cover is clearing a little bit. Comes inside on Susky. Gives his knees a little bit of a breeze in there. 3-1.
Don't let the sunshine fool you, though. I am still quite cold up here.
Oh, Californian. So another walk, and Spurko just can't keep runners off the base paths. And it brings up the number 9 hitter. That's Eric Ma, who grounded into a fielder's choice in the third. And it'll be pretty big if Spurko can end it here without turning the order around.
Big first strike to open up this batter.
That's lined into right. That one could get down for an extra base hit, and it does. Fielded in center field by Brown. And the runners are going to try and score at home. We're going to have a play at the plate. Not quite. Throw is offline, and the runner scores from first. So with speed, Susky comes around on the RBI double by Ma, and the Polar Bears are on the board.
Yeah, that was a huge hit. That's definitely what Bowdoin wants to see more of, and there's definitely more time in this ball game, so they will look to continue.
I was pretty shocked that Susky managed to come around to score from first. It was fielded fairly quickly ground, but it had a decent amount of hang time and just not too much on the arm. Clean throw into Schnepp might have been close, but the throw is way offline, and Bowdoin gets on the board. Top of the order now, Hansen, who came in to pinch hit for Jew in the third and remained in at right. He struck out in his only plate appearance. Oh, 1 count now. Ma short lead off of second. Here's the 0-1 outside, 1-1. That RBI double comes as a bit of a shock. Spurko had really not given up too much all afternoon. Base runner here or there. Certainly not a booming double. And managed to score from first, so big swing and a miss from Hansen. Bjorn Hansen attended Minnetonka High School in Minnetonka, Minnesota, which is only relevant because it's fun to say.
Minnetonka. I like it.
Spurko ahead of Hansen, 1-2. Gets Hansen to go fishing, strikes him out, and ends the inning, limiting the damage. So 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and a man left on base. And the strikeout count is up to 8 for Spurko, but the shutout is no longer intact.
Yeah, that was definitely the worst inning for the Jumbos, and it wasn't all too bad. So if they can keep it at least better than that, it's going to be a win for the Jumbos.
Vogel Friedman's out again for the bottom of the 5th, and somewhat surprising. He's given up 5 runs, but 5 runs on 6 hits and 4 errors. So the tough situations, but he can't really be blamed for most of them. I'm not good enough of a scorekeeper to keep track of which runs are specifically earned and which aren't. If you're really interested in that, I'm sure the live stats online have that for you. But giving up 6 hits in 4 innings it's not great, but enough to keep him in the ball game. And now that the Polar Bears have cut it to a 4-run deficit, he's going to want to get a clean inning here. McLaughlin knocking off in Brown for Tufts. McLaughlin skies the first pitch directly over the press box. And if that hits a car, we're going to have some property damage. It's the 0-1 pitch. In the dirt, 1-1. For all of you who've been concerned, we've gotten dozens of tweets about this. Our JumboCast truck is parked safely at the very outer edges of the parking lot, so there's no danger to our truck or our equipment. 1-1 now, taken high. You can tweet at us, by the way. I don't think we've mentioned that yet this game. We do have a rookie director working, so I'm not sure if we're going to get the tweets up on the screen, but we'll keep track of the Twitter feed and respond to any tweets we get on air, just to spice things up. McLaughlin took 2-2, took a strike to make it 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and he's waved at that. Drop third strike. Sent down to first, and the 2-3 put out finishes the strikeout. So 1 away. That was probably the most fooled we've seen a tough batter all afternoon.
Yeah, they've been hacking pretty well so far. So I don't think there's much concern to be had.
Here's Nachman off the DH, swing and a miss in the first pitch. He struck out looking in the first, flied out to center in the third, trying to get his first hit of the afternoon. Lines that one in the left. That's going to be a clean base hit.
Wow, that was a pretty huge hack. And that was fast, low to the ground.
Yeah, one of the most solid line drives we've seen.
The center fielder, number 15, Harry Brown.
I'll bring up Harry Brown. Brown was hit by a pitch in the second, came around to score on the Shackelford double, reached on an error in the third, and then made it to third on another error before the inning ended mercifully for the Polar Bears. Ball in the dirt taken, 1-0. Runner holds. So will this be the first official at bat for Brown? To be determined. 0 for 0 on the day. Takes the 1-0 for a called strike. Schnepf on deck with 1 out and runner on. Taken for a called strike, 1-2. Schnepf in the wearing partial catcher's gear. Now, if I was him, and I don't know what the protocol is on this, you know, the one scenario he doesn't get up right now is a double play. So if I'm him, I want to be optimistic. Take off the equipment, expect to get up right now. But
Yeah, I definitely would not want to be hitting wearing catcher's gear. Can't be good for the knee movement.
2-2 upcoming now to Brown. It's the pitch. Swung on, grounded is short. This could be 2. Over to second, on to first. Slow throw, and he's safe. Sharp throw gets him easily.
The throw was a little high, a little off. A possible double play, but another missed opportunity for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, I mean, that just seemed lollygagged. Not, just not a lot of arm strength, and that's the difference maybe between D3 NESCAC baseball and the pros. But, they're getting closer. That was, the third double play opportunity the Polar Bears have missed out. That was every time they're getting a little closer, so next time.
Yeah, we'll see how close they get.
Runner gets back in, and free of all gear, takes to the batter's box.
Even with the throws from the pitcher to first base, it seems like they're pretty delayed. And there's yet again.
A very interesting move there. Sort of twisted himself around and slung it over to first. Doesn't look comfortable. A chance to get out of the inning with no runs on the board. Vogel Friedman gets a strike in. 0-1 now to Schneff. Schneff had an infield single to third, came around to score on the Shackelford double in the second. Grounded out to the second baseman in the third. So he's 1 for 2. 1-1 count on him. Checks the runner, deals 1-1. That had some movement on it. That came in slow and dove at the last minute, and Schnepp just took a wave. Had no chance. 1-2. Chance to end the inning now. Checks the runner again.
Yeah, that movement, not only probably uncomfortable, but unsuccessful every time.
Deals to the plate. Just gets a piece of it. Pops it over the bleachers and hits a Land Rover on a bounce. One of the tougher cars out in the parking lot. It's going to be just fine. There's a repeat of the 1-2 now. Really worried about this runner. Not sure if Brown is known for his speed or not, but with 2 outs, pitcher deals, taken low in the dirt, and Brown was going. So stolen base for Brown.
Not even a throw from the catcher. Not sure how much he trusts his infielders to get a ball like that and keep him at second base, but...
Well, he couldn't get a grip on the ball in the dirt. He might have had a throw otherwise, but really good guessing, I suppose, by Brown. So now with a runner in scoring position, and Schnepp takes high, and the count is full. So we're going to see the runners going here. Runner singular, that is. So count full and walked him. So after the stolen base, Schnepp ends up on first with a walk, and Shackelford, 9 batter, and Tufts will get the lineup turned around if nothing else in this inning. Shackelford had the 2 RBI double in the second, came around to score on the O'Hara sac fly, and then reached on an error in the fourth. He's 1 for 1. First pitch of the at-bat, taken inside. Chatter encouraging Billy Shackelford here. Grounds one over to short. Easy out at second, and the inning's over. So in the inning for Tufts, 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and an upset, and 2 men left on base. So after 5 innings, Tufts leads 5-1, and the Polar Bears are going to get back to work. So is Superco, by the way. Tim Superco has only given up two hits and 1 run in 5 innings of work so far. Quality outing for sure. I'd sign up for that any day. For Bowdoin, we've got 2-3-4 due up. That's Lopez, Joncas, and Dumont Lapointe. And those 3 hitters are a combined 1 for 6 on the afternoon. Dumont Lapointe led off the second with a single. Otherwise, nothing doing from that solid part, that middle part of the order. Do a quick check-in on the action over in Queens. We've got Jacob deGrom going against the Nationals this afternoon. And they're in the top of the second, no score. So Mets have really been struggling lately. Fell in 11 to the Nationals last night after Familia gave up the winning run on a bases-loaded walk. And Mets have actually fallen below 500. But we're back underway here at Huskins Field. Lopez is dug in, takes first pitch strike from Spurko. Lopez flat out to right and struck out in his first 2 appearances. Takes inside for ball 1. Lopez also was the starting pitcher for the first game. He is the best starting pitcher on the season for Bowdoin, but got roughed up, gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings en route to a loss. Trying to make up for that a little bit now, playing center field and continuing to be a force in the lineup. Has a batter's count now, 2-1. Takes a look, 3-1. 3-1 pitch taken high, and the third leadoff walk issued by Spurko. Or not exactly. That's what happens when you've got delayed calls from the umpire. That was actually a called strike. And
Fooled the batter too there.
yeah, I don't think he was trying to show up the pitcher by tossing the bat. I think he just thought he had a free pass. So full count now. Fouls that one into the parking lot.
Ooh.
And I heard a thud.
Right off the top of a Prius there, but a durable vehicle out of Japan. It stays in the parking lot.
Another 3-2. That one hits him. So for my marking in the scorebook goes used. I'd actually only written the line down to first. Hadn't wrote in BB yet, so I put HBP instead. That stands for hit by pitch. For those of you new to scoring or acronyms. So a leadoff base runner. Bowdoin held scoreless until last inning when they managed to scratch in a run. RBI double by Eric Ma. Now it's Colby Jonkis, the catcher. Strikeout and fly out to center in his first 2 appearances. And he's taken a couple. He's ahead in the count, 2-0. We're going to have a brief rendezvous at the mound between Spurko and Schneff. As I've said, Spurko's been dealing, but just really throwing a lot more pitches than one would hope. Not sure how deep he's going to be able to go. The 2-0 swung on, tipped into the catcher's mitt, 2-1. See, pretty typical defensive alignment here. The fielders in the middle infield playing towards the back edge of the dirt. Against the number 3 hitter. 2-1 swung on, big swing. Swung on and missed. Spurko's now worked from behind. Worked it from 2-0. Now it's 2-2. Here's the pitch. Looked at. And that's going to be ball 3. Didn't want to get too far ahead of myself there. You never know with this delayed reaction umpire. So full count for the second consecutive batter. That's taken low, ball 4, and we've got men on first and second. No hits given up, but a conversation now between the coach and Spurko upcoming. First and second, no out. The Polar Bears threatening.
Little action in the bullpen. A pitcher appears to be warming up, so a change might be in place.
Jumbo's unfortunately not wearing numbers on the front of their jerseys today, so it's going to be hard to tell who exactly that is. I think I saw a 3. We're going to keep, yeah, definitely starts with a 3, but that's about all we're going to be able to see from here. Conversation's over. If I had to guess, something about maybe throwing strikes.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good advice.
Let's see, there are 3 pitchers with numbers starting with 3. I'm going to guess it's Ian Kinney in the bullpen. That's number 33. Marchetti tends to be a starter, and haven't seen Rothstein play in any of the games I've been to, so I'm going to guess that's Kinney. But Spurko continues to deal. First pitch lined in his right center. That's going to get down for at least a single. Runner comes around to score for Bowdoin, and in the sliding double, that's Dumont LaPointe, and Bowdoin gets another run back. A first pitch ambush, and Tufts is in really a sticky situation now. Second and third, tying run coming to the plate, and no outs here in the bottom of the 6th.
This is definitely not a situation the Jumbos foresaw after that pretty quick 5-0 lead. Tying run at the plate, looking to get out of this really fast, although there are no outs.
And not even a force play anywhere except first. First pitch bounced in, 1-0. And Sawyer Billings, the designated hitter, junior out of Marblehead, Mass.
I believe it's pronounced Marblehead, but I've only been in Massachusetts for a few months now.
Fair enough. And that one, there was daylight between the ball and the helmet there. No malintent, but a conversation to be had mid at bat between the catcher, the pitcher, and the pitching coach. I'm just not sure didn't think this was something that was allowed, but it seems we're having it. Billings comes into the afternoon with a .327 batting average, 7 RBIs. That doesn't include earlier today, and we're having a mid-at-bat pitcher change, and I'm not sure.
Did not know that one was allowed.
That would lead me to believe there's some sort of an injury situation, though maybe we'll find out more. We will let you know more when we find it out, but that's the end of the day for Spurko. He gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, had 8 strikeouts, and it actually is Marchetti who's into pitch, so our speculation was inaccurate. And Spurko leaves in line for the win, having pitched 5+. He's responsible for the runners on second and third, but not the tying run, I don't think. I mean, he started the at-bat, so I don't know. These are all inane bits of scoring that don't really matter at the end of the day. But hopefully Spurko's all right.
Overall, it was a pretty great start for him. 8 strikeouts, pretty remarkable. But, you know, getting lost in the count countless times with multiple Bowdoin batters kind of left the mound not looking too happy. But I would rate that as a pretty good start.
So we're going to get back underway now.
Little meeting on the mound there with some infielders, pitcher and catcher. I assume they said, let's end this and get 3 outs pretty fast.
So Marchetti comes with 2 balls already on the batter and 2 runners on second and third and no outs. I'm not sure there's much more of a less desirable situation to come in as a reliever, but we'll see if Marchetti's up to the challenge. It's a 2-0. First pitch from Marchetti. That's inside. Ball 3. So here's the 3-0. Billings awaits. He's taking all the way, strike one. Let's see if we can get you some Marchetti's numbers on the season, just to give you a sense of what we're dealing with here. After the 3-1. Fouled off. Awkward swing, and Marchetti has worked it full. He's thrown 2 strikes and only 1 ball. Yet behind in the count 3-2. I'm going to keep harping on that as long as this at-bat continues. Hope you'll bear with me. Here's a 3-2. Runners lead off second and third. Fouled back over the backstop. Marchetti's pitched 17 2/3 innings on the season with a 4.08 ERA, respectable 9.68 K per 9. So nearly a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio as well. Here's 3-2. Swung on, fouled into the catcher's mitt, and that's a strikeout. So Marchetti starts to work out of the jam. Billings is retired. That'll bring up the shortstop Mullaney.
The shortstop, number 6,
Sean Mullaney is grounded into a fielder's choice and walked so far today.
Still only the forced play at first, but Jumbos continue to undo some damage.
First pitch of the at-bat bounces in. That ball might have broken just a little bit too much. Action continues in the Jumbos bullpen. My guess is it wouldn't be imminent unless Marchetti really gives up some bombs here. The 1-0 to Billings, to Mullaney rather. And that's a 1-1. It's a big spot in the game. Base hit here gets it to a 1-run ball game. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, bounced. That'll bring in a run, but the pitcher takes it himself. And there's 2 away.
Sacrifice play does help put Bowdoin up a little bit. Now they're 3 runs on the day, but this is some damage that is not Marchetti's fault, and he has shown some promise so far.
We'll say, as a commentator, I do enjoy a tight ball game, so I don't really mind too much that we've got the stakes jacked up.
Definitely not. Gives us some more fun stuff to talk about.
So Gentile now up. Gentile struck out and grounded into a double play. So not the greatest afternoon for him in game 2. He is now ahead in the count 1-0. Marchetti deals. Swung on. That's headed for left field, right on the line, and that's put away by McLaughlin for the 3rd out. But Bowdoin gets a couple more. 2 runs on 1 hit. No errors, and 1 man left on base. And Spurko's afternoon is over. He's still in line for the win, having given up 2 runs, 3 earned. And Tufts is now going to have a little more urgency at the plate, trying to widen their lead back to the margin they once had. Top of the lineup coming up.
Looks like an inspiring pep talk in the huddle right there. Jumbos are trying to close out this game on top.
So we're heading to the bottom of the 6th. Pace of game is pretty average for D3. We're about 2/3 of the way through innings-wise. We've been here for 5. You know, no replays certainly helps. Instant replays, that is. Not the instant replays, the replay review. Not sure if we've got a director back there who's doing replays or not. Shout out to Alec Whipple. He's solo directing for the first time this afternoon. He's also the incoming general manager of JumboCast. That's a position I'm going to have to relinquish when I graduate next month. So that's pretty exciting for him, pretty sad for me, I'm not going to lie.
Congratulations, excuse me, to him. Bernie will be missed by many.
Many, but not all. First pitch, fly foul into the Jumbo's bullpen. Vogel Friedman working now into the 6th inning. Pretty gutty on his part, saving the bullpen. Not only is this the second game of the afternoon, but there's another game between. Petrie takes called strike 2, quickly behind. We won't be covering that one for you, unfortunately. That game was originally scheduled to be yesterday, but it was a pretty dark and disgusting day weather-wise, and so they moved it to Sunday. Petrie on the 0-2 pitch, lines it into right center. He's looking at 2. There's going to be a play at second. He's in sliding, and he's safe.
Very safe double play. Excuse me,
just a double.
Not a double play. Double play is something Bowdoin has been unable to get. Good double right there for the Jumbos. And I do believe that Prius over in the parking lot is being looked at as a defensive replacement. I'm hearing word.
Well, there was nothing to be done by Lopez on that one. That was smoked. And he got to it quickly. I was impressed. Petrie was thinking double all the way. Just took the turnaround first, never thought twice. He was in by about a step. So now first pitch swung on by Oscar Kuch, fouled. Didn't get a chance to tell you about Petrie's day so far, but I'll tell you about Kuch. He's had 3 at-bats. He had a double to right in the first, popped up to short, and grounded out to the first. So 1 for 3 on the day. On the game, should say. There was a game earlier. These are single game stats I'm giving you right here. Don't have space for all these scorecards flying around. Vogel Friedman gets Kuch to swing on top of the 0-1 to bring it to 0-2. Now we had from Vogel Friedman quite a few strikeouts early. He had 4 strikeouts through 2 innings. Less so lately as the games worn on. I bring that up because I've gotten the word from out in Queens that Mets pitcher Jacob deGrom has 7 strikeouts through just 3 innings. So not that it's a competition, but I think deGrom beats Vogel Friedman this afternoon. Kuch takes low and outside. He's worked the counts at 2-2. I'll try and keep it germane for you folks. Who knows how many of you at home actually care about the Mets. You're here to watch the Bull Bears and the Jumbos, so let's keep it to that. All right, 2-2 now for Kutch. Runner on second is fouled. Wind still blowing out towards left. Maybe not quite as aggressively as it had been earlier in the day. There is some action in the Bowdoin bullpen. I see number 12, but I think that's the warm-up catcher. Hard to see who the pitcher is. Vogel Freeman on the 0-2, swung on, tipped into the catcher's mitt. That's a strikeout. And Kuch will take a seat. That brings up Tommy O'Hara, who's struck out, got a single, and also sac fly. So that's 1 for 2 for O'Hara. Loads up, but looks at strike 1. And I got to think that this is probably going to be the last inning for Vogel Friedman. He's thrown a lot of pitches. He's worked through a lot of jams. If he can get out of here as O'Hara swings through the 0-1, Vogel Friedman ahead in the count. Now, after giving up 4 in the first 2 innings, actually a fairly solid 4 innings, or, well, 3 1/3 so far since. And he'll be able to turn it over to the bullpen if he can get out of this one with his team and a chance to come back and win it. O'Hara takes outside 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. And Vogel Freeman, if he can do another one, you got to think Coach will want him to. He's really found his stuff in the past few innings.
Yeah, I can definitely see him staying in the game if he can keep it together. I assume they do not want to go to the bullpen immediately and keep some of those ready for more play tomorrow.
Foxen comes up. He is 1 for 3 in the day. Infield RBI single in the first, strikeout in the second, grounded into a fielder's choice in the fourth. Takes strike 1.
Definite signs of improvement. A lot of strikes, and he's getting ahead in the count right off the bat. No pun intended.
We don't have pitch counters here. Got to assume it's decently high. That would be the only strike against him at this point in the game. This one's fisted into shallow center. That's going to bring home a run. Foxen had it come inside on the hands, powered it, muscled it out into the shallow outfield grass. And going on contact with 2 outs was Petrie, and he comes home to score the 6th run of the afternoon for the Jumbos.
And keep that high spirits up for the Jumbos after losing a little ground, but they are back up in it.
So first pitch to McLaughlin's down to second, takes it himself for the easy out. And McLaughlin's retired for the 4th time this afternoon. But Jumbos get a run on 2 hits, 1 man left in the inning, and no errors. So if that's it for Vogel Friedman, not a stellar performance. Gave up 6 runs, but mostly attributable to poor defense and overall a gutty performance to stay in it and not get down and leaving the Polar Bears in a position only down 3. Keddy's going to continue on after finishing off the 6th, getting all 3 outs in the 6th. He's going to stay on for the 7th. And for Bowdoin coming up in the 7th, it's going to be 8-9-1. Susky, who walked and scored the first run, then Eric Ma, who had the RBI. And then the top of the order where Bjorn Hansen has since replaced Jew. Jew had, of course, 1 official error and 1 misplay in right field that led to his replacement. Chatter rises from both dugouts. Marchetti sends the first pitch outside to Susky. That was some kind of curveball, let me tell you. Here's the 1-0. That one's a fastball in there for a strike. And I want to give props to the Bowdoin Polar Bears because usually from over here we don't hear the opposing team chatter too much. We can hear it this time. It's the 1-1. That one's taken at the letters for a strike. Borderline call, not getting a lot of love from the crew in black. Here's the 1-2. Marchetti working a bit quicker than the starter. That one looped in there, just getting a piece of it with Susky. Perfect kind of off-speed pitch to be thrown on 1 and 2. Susky did not want to have to swing, but he had to swing. Here's the 1-2. Similar kind of pitch, but not really going to fool too many folks when it's coming in at the dirt like that.
Little low. I probably wouldn't have swung at that one, but maybe I would have. Haven't played baseball since
I was going to
fourth
say. Fouls off the 2-2 pitch.
He stays in it.
And Marchetti continues to attack, and Susky is not trying to go quietly. That's a swing and a miss out in front of an off-speed pitch for the first out.
The second baseman, number 4, Eric Ma.
So Ma, who had the RBI double that got the Polar Bears on the scoreboard, will come up. He's not an imposing figure. He stands in at 5'9". For reference, I'm taller than that.
For reference, I am shorter.
And he's going to try and bunt for a hit. It's going to be fielded by the third baseman, double clutch, and he throws it away. Ma's going to get all the way to second. And I thought Tommy O'Hara was going to be able to get the force out, but he double clutched and threw it away. So a little bit of surprise, element of surprise working in favor of Eric Ma. It's being called an error. Both bases on an error. I probably would have scored that a bunt single and an error to second, but that's not how it's being put up on the board. So we're getting another pinch hitter in the 1 spot. Placing Bjorn Hansen is Connor Lee, the freshman out of Bedford, New Hampshire. Runner on second now with 1 out. First pitch taken for a strike. It's not often you see the top spot, outfield spot, rotated so much in a game. Lee with the 0-1 takes that one high and outside.
Slow pitch with a little arc to it.
Before the game, I was contemplating whether I should print out a scorecard with a spot for 3 replacements, and I did, and I'm grateful. So 1-1. That's in there for a strike. Marchetti, it seems, has a pretty straightforward fastball, but he keeps hitters guessing with some of those wacky breaking off-speed pitches that he also throws. 1 and 2. Not what the scoreboard will tell you right now, but I've been paying attention. Marchetti takes a look at the runner off second. Ma is not going too far. He's being held by Shackelford decently tight. Lee looks at the 1-2, swings and misses, and he's struck out. So 2 away now. Marchetti can work around a error for a clean inning. Here comes Lopez. Lopez flew out to right, struck out in the 3rd, was hit by pitch, and eventually came around to score in the 6th. So 0-2, 0-4-2 with a run. There's a chance for an RBI here with a runner in scoring position. First pitch dives in for a strike. And Lopez is having had a word or two with the umpire. I wish I could see this from the batter's perspective, from the vertical movement, and that one had plenty.
It dipped down pretty nicely.
So an 0-1 pitch. That's lined up the middle for a single. That'll bring home a run. Lopez jumped on the fastball and gets his first RBI of the game.
The tying run is now at the plate yet again.
The catcher, number 33, Colby Junkus.
And basically just was guessing fastball, based on the way the hitters have been approaching Marchetti. Like I said, it doesn't seem like the fastball is anything too outlandish, but it must be that the delivery on the different pitches are so similar that they can't really identify it early. Lopez there lined up the fastball and clean single.
Force play at second and first base. Jumbo's going to look to put this one away quickly.
So here's Jonkus, who's 0 for 2 with a walk scored in the last inning. Takes a ball 1 in the dirt. Cole, NESCAC rival. Marchetti deals 1-0. Taken for a strike. See Lopez getting a pretty solid secondary lead off of first, being held on tightly. Marchetti deals the 1-1. Swung on, grounded to second, gets the easy way to short, and that'll end the inning. So that inning for Bowdoin featured 1 run on 1 hit, an error, and 1 man left on base. So 1 back for the Polar Bears, who still trail by 2 at the 7th inning stretch. We'll have 6 more offensive outs to catch up. And Vogel Friedman is still in the game. I hope you didn't hear the profanity that was uttered just below us, but let's just say there's some bewilderment as how the Vogel Friedman has managed to stay in. So if you didn't hear the PA, defensively Connor Lee, who pinch hit in the top of the inning, is staying in at right. I'm going to make a note of that myself. For Tufts now, in the bottom of the 7th, we're going to see Nachmanoff, Brown, and Schnepf. That's 6, 7, 8. Not a whole lot of 7th inning stretch festivities here, but I'm curious what your favorite 7th inning stretch activity is when you go to ball games typically.
Well, I'm a big fan of Take Me Out to the Ball Game at Dodger Stadium. They play the song twice at Fenway Park. I've noticed they play it once through.
Yeah, twice is a bit much. I'm not sure I've heard of that.
It is, but anything to keep the Dodger fans entertained as they regularly come in the 3rd inning and probably leave after the 6th.
Better you say it than I. Yeah, 7th inning at Citi Field features, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Also a T-shirt cannon. So that's pretty exciting.
Ooh, very nice.
As we've got Nachmanoff digging in, takes ball 1 low. Actually, once I was sitting at in the field level, I forget if it was during the 7th inning stretch, but had a T-shirt come in my direction and bounced off my face, and somebody else got it. Here's the 1-0, taken low, 2-0, and that was just so frustrating because it didn't hurt that much.
Of course.
But it came off my face, and it seemed to me in that moment, it had been the decent thing to do to let me have that T-shirt, which had, taken a chunk of my eye out, for God's sake.
You would think so. A similar situation played out in the 2004 World Series. My sister, ball bounced off of her, and the boy sitting next to her kept it for himself.
2-1 pitch now. That's held swing, so 3-1. Probably a pretty fine experience if you got to be at the World Series nonetheless.
I'm sure it was for her. I have not been able to make one
You were
myself.
not there.
Super Bowls are more of my thing.
And Nachmanoff takes the. That'll bring up Brown.
The center fielder, number 15,
And Harry Brown has been hit by a pitch, reached on an error, and reached on a fielder's choice. So he's been on base 3 times, but still no hits. And a conversation now with Vogel Friedman, and
pinch running at first base for Malcolm Nakmanoff, number 4.
yep, that'll be the afternoon for Vogel Friedman. He receives a round of applause from the Bowdoin fans. He had quite the afternoon. He's being replaced by number 34, Seamus Keenan, a first-year pitcher out of Stonington, Connecticut. On the afternoon for Vogel Friedman, 6 runs, 9 hits. Not sure how many of those runs are going to go down as earned, though, and quite a fair share of strikeouts. That's going to be 7 strikeouts on the afternoon. 7 strikeouts on the afternoon for Vogel Friedman. That all coming in 6+.
Number 34, Seamus Keenan.
Also lost in the fray. Pinch runner coming in for Nachmanoff at first base. That's going to be. Can't tell because they don't have the numbers on the front of the jerseys. So we'll put in a word to the team Taylor that maybe wants some numbers. There we go. Number 4 is going to be the pinch runner. That's Casey Santos Acampo, sophomore who gets a decent amount of playing time, just not in the lineup today. Bit more speed than Nachmanoff. So now Harry Brown will get his turn to bat. Speedier legs on first. No outs in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch from Keenan is taken for a strike. So 0-1 up coming to Brown. This pitch shows bump. It's a popped up bunt caught by the pitcher. Doesn't have a play at first, but a poor bunting effort from Brown and sort of a surprising considering the situation.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. I don't think he was expecting for it to go up in the air at all, but misplayed and 1 out on the board.
With, I mean, I guess it on one hand makes sense that you want to move the runner over to second, especially now that you've put in a pinch runner. But up 2, facing a new pitcher. I don't know. I want these guys to be hitting. But we've got Schneff now, the catcher, up at the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Also came around to score in the second. Oh, 1 pitch to Schneff. Well, before that, Santos Acampo checked at first. He was getting a pretty solid lead over there. He did come in as a pinch runner for a reason. Taking the classic 2.5-step lead, but a generous 2.5 steps. Keenan gets ready for the 0-1. Deals. Looked at. I was off speed for 1-1. Seamus Keenan has pitched 7 2/3 innings so far this year, accruing a 7.04 ERA in that time. Santos Ocampo gets back in standing. One taken inside and low, 2-1. It's going to be important for the Polar Bears to keep the offense limited for Tufts in this half inning. Only trailing by 2, likely to face some of the bullpen arms. This one's popped high into foul territory. First baseman is there, and that's the easy out for Susky. So 2 away now. And that'll bring up Shackelford. Shackelford doubled in the second to bring home 2 runs. Reached on an error in the 4th and grounded into a fielder's choice in the 5th. Number 9 hitter. First pitch of the at-bat, that's going to be bunted foul. And I'm not sure what the Tufts obsession with bunting has been in this inning. Now bunting clearly for a hit with 2 outs. Might be something to do with the way they see the defensive alignment, but I can't imagine they have too much of a scouting report to know that they shouldn't be hitting for power against them. Thanks for saving my notes, by the way, Ben.
Yeah, wind is picking up a little bit. Maybe not enough to propel the ball outside, but enough to knock over Bernie's papers.
This one's fouled back into the parking lot. Couldn't tell if we got any metal or on that one. On the second bounce, we hit a car. All right. It's been a very productive afternoon for foul balls hitting cars, much more so than past weekends. Here's the 0-2. That one's also fouled back. That's going to hit something, I think. Hit the cab of a truck, maybe. Oh, they just started charging for parking in these parking lots last year, and yeah, that's fair. You know, make a buck, that's fine. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning. I'll continue in a second. Clean inning for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. Keenan finished what Vogel Friedman could not. Vogel Friedman gave up a leadoff walk for Keenan. 3 straight outs. So in the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base, and after 7, Tufts leads 6-4. What I was going to say about the parking lot is, you know, yeah, they're charging for parking, but maybe they should say, you know, if you get hit by a foul ball, parking's free.
Free parking? That seems fair to me. Probably a couple $100 windshield change, so.
Yeah, the $8 is going to put some dent in that, right?
Yeah.
Pun not intended? I'm not sure on that one. So we're going to have Marchetti continuing. Now going for his 3rd inning in relief, and he was quite successful working out of a jam in the 6th and clean inning in the 7th. Changes fielding. Did you catch that one, Ben? I missed it.
I did not.
There was a defensive change, and it's that J.P. Knight is now playing 3rd base. That's number 28. That's a defensive switch for Tommy O'Hara. And leading off the top of the 8th is Dumont Lapointe.
Slow first pitch for a ball.
Dumont Lapointe is 2 for 3 on the day with a single and a double, both to center. Also struck out in the 4th. Has a 1-0 count now. Looks at a strike, 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Takes a look, strike 2. Pitcher's count now for Marchetti. 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, grounded to short, fielded there. On to Foxton at first, and one away.
Nice routine play.
I think the field's probably been drying up over the past couple of hours. Got to Shackelford in enough time to make the easy play. So Billings now, the designated hitter up for Bowdoin, takes a big hack on the first pitch. He has gone 0 for 3 so far, 2 strikeouts and a pop up to third. Trying to change that now. Takes high, ball 1. Taking 3-0. If I said there was a strike earlier, I think I was correct. He did swing through, yeah.
There was a strike, yep.
Okay.
It's now on the board.
It's not our typical scoreboard operator today, so that's fouled in and out of the catcher's mitt at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the inning, nobody on base. This one's eaten up at second by Petrie. On to first. Good play.
Remarkably, he gets the throw in time after bobbling it a little bit, but another nice play from the infield.
Well, that one skipped in there faster than just about any other ball in the dirt we've seen this afternoon. And, you know, first rule in the infield is keep it in front of you. That's what Petrie did.
Indeed.
And it got there fast enough. He had time to recover. So Sean Mullaney now comes up with 2 outs, no men on base. He's reached on a walk. The sacrifice ground out in the 6th. Ground into a fielder's choice in the 2nd. I told you about that. Already with a strike on him. Here's the 0-1. Takes a look at ball 1. It was low. Got middle infielders playing at the edge of the grass. 1-1. Taken for a strike.
Looking for another strike right down the middle to put this inning away.
I don't know. I think Marchetti has the opportunity to play with him a little if he wants.
I think so too. We'll see.
There it is. Off-speed pitch coming inside. Not going to get too many folks to bite on something that's coming inside like that. More likely if you get a pitch to take a left turn and tail away. 2-2 nonetheless. That one swung on, sent it to center field. Going back is Brown. He's under it, and he makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Marchetti. He's gotten 3 innings under his belt now. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base. And Jumbo's maintained a 2-run lead heading into the bottom of the 8th. So last chance for Tufts to pad their lead before turning it over, presumably to their closer. Marchetti's been doing all right. It might even just leave him in. He's been a starter at times. Chatter on the bullpen, not in the bullpen, in the dugout that we can hear. Of, let's put it away here. Don't make it a game in the 9th inning. So Keenan's coming back out for the 8th for the Polar Bears. Had clean bottom of the 7th. Things not going so well in Queens. Big series against the Nationals. Of course, that's a banged up team. Got like half that team on the DL already. It's like 3 weeks into April. But one thing about this collegiate game is you've got a very different schedule format. I think it's much less conducive to injuries. They're not playing every day. Yeah, they play doubleheaders more often than not. They play these 3-game series over the course of 2 days, but the day-to-day grind is a lot less. And in D3, the amount of practices they have is relatively limited. Really lets the students be student athletes. So.
Have you ever had a class with one of these baseball players?
And we'll focus on the game as Petrie pops one up on the infield. Who's it going to be? It's going to be the second baseman, Ma, there. One away. I'm not sure to answer that question. Certainly no intimate class where I would know people's names. I've taken some of these large lecture hall classes that no doubt have had some baseball players. Wanderers in Space is a popular one for
I've
the.
heard good reviews.
Yeah, that's for those folks that don't really want the hard science. I think our camera operator might have been in that one as well. So good times all around. Oscar Kuch is at the plate. He's 1 for 4 in the day. Doubled in the first, but hasn't reached since. He lines that one to the gap on the right side for a single.
The third baseman, number 28, J.P. Knight.
We'll say I'm in right now. The main athlete who I'm in class with on a regular basis is Holden Rosengrupp. His first pitch to Knight comes in high and tight. Knight in his first at bat now after replacing Tommy O'Hara. He's a player on the lacrosse team. Actually, the other night in the game against Bates, he's responsible for a hit as Knight, big swing and a miss. Responsible for a hit on one of the Bates players. In the opinion of our commentators, it was a clean hit. I don't really know the game of lacrosse well enough to tell you myself, but anyway, it resulted in this Bates player's legs getting broken. Just one leg getting broken, but it was a on-field delay for about 20 minutes while Thames came and he was taken away on a stretcher. It was pretty rough stuff, but then I talked about it with him in Hebrew the next day. So
That is definitely a gruesome outcome.
yeah, I know what you want. Anyway, 2-1 to JP Knight. He takes one on the shoulder, so not quite as dramatic, but that one's probably fixed with just a little bit of ice. Jumbo's quickly at first and second now with 1 out. Foxen coming up now, 2 for 4. Pair of singles in the 4th and 6th innings.
A few words in the mound here.
Hate to be so distracted with other sports, but while we're talking about significant injuries, I've seen on my phone in the Stanley Cup playoffs, Eric Stahl has been sent to the hospital after a collision at the boards in a game between the Wild and the Blues. So not even the right sport or the right state or any of that, but injuries are pretty rough, regardless of when they happen, to whom, and for what reason. I think he was on the Rangers at one point, or might have been one of his brothers. Anyway, Foxen now. That one's sent into center field. Might fall. It doesn't fall. It's caught. Runner's going to hold, actually. And Lopez, a solid play. That one was smoked. He's still got a couple smiles as he comes back to the bench for the contact he did make. Not a gimme, but a fly out at the end of the day. So McLaughlin now, perhaps the last Tufts offensive batter if things go well in the top of the ninth. He comes up with runners on first and second and 2 out. He's actually 0 for 4 in the afternoon. Keenan threatens to throw it over, but fails to do so. With the runner on second, you can see Suski at first, ball off the bag, playing somewhat deep against McLaughlin. McLaughlin takes a off-speed pitch for strike one. Do have some action in the Tufts bullpen. I think we may have seen the last of Marchetti. It's a save situation, even though that's sort of a bogus stat. Save situation for now. We'll see what McLaughlin has to say about it. Takes low in the dirt, 1-1. One pitch coming up now. McLaughlin swings, grounds it to short, over to second for the easy out, and the inning's over. So in that inning, 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and 2 left on base. So in the last chance for Bowdoin now, top of the 9th inning coming up, they trail by 2. They're going to have 7, 8, 9 in the order due up. Gentile, Suski, and Ma. And it's going to be a new pitcher for Tufts. That's 27, Rory Zomek, the senior pitcher who's been getting a lot of the closing duties lately. And he leads the team in ERA with 142. He's pitched 12 and 2/3 innings in the season. Even has a record. 22 strikeouts to walks ratio. So pretty reliable for closing up the game. And also a friend of the program. He came on. He writes for the Nothing But NESCAC sports blog. Rory does. And he came on to join us during our NCAA women's basketball action back in March. And had him on at halftime. He was talking about his experience as an athlete, but more so his analysis of the women's game. But all eyes on the baseball field now. Of course, the women's basketball team ultimately fell in the national championship game to Amherst. That's the only team to beat Tufts in women's basketball, but they did it 3 times, which is fairly impressive.
That is a tough series for all of us here, but looking to bounce back next season, I'm sure.
Well, I can graduate, and so can the other seniors on the team, saying every single year we were here, Tufts women's basketball made it to the Final Four. Actually played the maximum number of games every year, because first 2 years they fell in the semifinal, but there was a third place game. Then pretty sure they eliminated the third place game because it's pretty awkward for all involved. And they were like, well, we still want to play the same number of games, better win in the Final Four as well to get to that championship game, get that 33rd game of the season. Lots of basketball. One thing you're going to notice about Rory Zomek as he pitches is he has a very interesting timing mechanism. He picks up his front leg, as you see, and puts it back down, and then pitches. And the first pitch to Gentile is grounded foul, wide of first base. And it's not really a problem, under normal circumstances, but when there are runners on base, can be very borderline in terms of being a balk. And so oftentimes, as Gentile takes high for 1-1. Oftentimes, from what I understand, what I've overheard, the coaches will need to give the umpires a heads up, like, this is a thing he does. He's not balking, like, just let him do him. And I suppose that's at the umpire's discretion, but hasn't been an issue in any games I've seen.
Yeah, definitely an interesting form. Haven't seen that from any of the college players I've seen at all this year, especially today. But a little reminiscent of Craig Kimbrell's pre-pitch.
Well, 2-1 becomes 3-1, and Zomek is struggling to find the strike zone early in his appearance. Little bit of a cushion. Tufts is up 6-4. And I think there's something pristine about the scoreline for Bowdoin right now. They've got 4 runs on 4 hits and 4 errors. So for no other reason, I'm sort of hoping it stays that way. Pitch grounded on to third base. Knight, the replacement, he'd come in presumably for defense, can't handle it, and the runner's safe.
Yeah, I mean, what this game has come down to time and time again is that defense, this time on the jumbo side.
Have not seen the official scoring yet. Official scoring on that one has not gone up yet. I'm just going to go ahead and call that an error. Susky up now, 8-hitter. Zomek checks the runner. Runner on first, tying runner at the plate. No out in the top of the 9th. Pitch taken, 4 strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on, grounded the pitcher, turns around, fires a short, wide of short. That's going to get into center field. Runner will advance to third, and the batter safe at first. So a couple of fielding miscues have Bowdoin Polar Bears in position to tie this game up. That was 1 out at least, potentially 2, and all of a sudden it's runners at the corners, no outs.
Yeah, that was just a messy play, not very good to see for the Jumbos, but pitching change is in order.
Yeah, Zomek is going to come out after facing just 2 batters. Given up, well, neither of the 2 at-bats has been put up. Yes, both are being called errors. That's going to be an E5 and an E1. So no hits, 2 errors given up, and that's the end of the day for Zomek. Responsible, well, they're not earned runs. Earned runs are also kind of dumb, aren't they?
Yeah, difficult statistic.
So that's going to be Ian Kinney now, who I thought was going to come in earlier but did not.
Getting a nice tour of the Jumbo bullpen today. Probably not what we anticipated, but nevertheless, we are seeing a few different relievers today.
And Kinney's firing him in there. I'm not exactly sure why Zomek was pulled as quickly as he was. He hadn't given up a hit. Sure, he hadn't given up an out, but those were errors. He easily could have been 2 outs, no men left. I mean, granted, he was responsible for one of the errors himself, but from a pitching standpoint, he hadn't really made mistakes.
Yeah, that error was, just to throw over to second base. Not really related to his pitching, but he was pulled nevertheless.
So it's going to be Eric Ma now. Represents the go-ahead run. Tying run at first. No outs in the top of the 9th. And Ma is 1 for 2 on the day. Also reached on an error in the 7th. had a double, RBI double in the 5th. The 5'9" second baseman has been an offensive threat. Before the first pitch from Kinney, a check over at first.
Let's go, Kitty.
Jumbo's hoping they won't need to get up to bat in the bottom of the 9th, but far from a certainty at this point. First pitch. That one's grounded to short. That'll bring a run home. Easy out at second, on to first, not in time. So one run comes home on the fielder's choice. Susky is erased. And Ma is on at first. So tying run is still at first. 1 out. That's basically all that's changed. Actually, they did come closer to turning the double play than I thought they would.
It looked good to me, but not.
So we've got the 4th different player in the 1 spot now. It's number 24, Jack Willowite. Maybe. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. The Polar Bears. Will Hoyt takes strike 1. Pickoff attempt unsuccessful. Once again, the sun is threatening to break out. I don't really see that happening. But skies lighten a little bit. Another pickoff attempt. Very tight 6-5 ball game we find ourselves in here in the top of the 9th at Huskins Field, Medford, Massachusetts, campus of Tufts University. Here's the 0-1 pitch, bounced in, blocked by Schnepp. So 1-1 now. I'm Bernie Birnbaum, been alongside Ben Shapiro with you for Game 2 of this doubleheader. Jumbo's won Game 1 fairly easily. 6-2 final if I'm not mistaken, but I might be. Kinney deals the 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Tense times.
Yeah, I mean, both dugouts are on their feet, yelling and active, and understandably so. This is a really close game now that neither side anticipated.
Yeah, and in a big conference game, too. 2-1. Low, ball 3. And Kenny continues to be behind on the batter. Of course, Tufts sitting at second in the NESCAC East, Bowdoin at third. Both looking up at Bates, who will be here in Medford next weekend. Pickoff attempt. We are at the point where one ground ball could end the ball game, but one fly ball could give the Polar Bears a lead. Big swing and a miss for Willowite. Full count now.
Yeah, I mean, ending the game with a double play would be going out fashionably, especially with the defensive woes of their opponent today.
It would be fitting for sure. Here's the 3-2. Swung on, fouled, back into the parking lot. And I heard a smash.
I heard a bit of a crunch. Not sure if that was metal or glass.
Word is it was metal.
That's good to hear.
Here's the 3-2 pitch after the pickoff attempt. Lots of worry about the runner, and it makes sense. That runner is the tying run. Ma is not taking a particularly aggressive lead off first. Here's a 3-2, swung on, fouled back again in the air. And I think a tree caught that one before it could do any damage. Well, did some damage to the tree.
The tree might be a little hurt on that one.
Here's a 3-2 now for the third time. Kenny deals. Swung, fouled back to the backstop.
Doing a good job of staying in right now. Lots of fouls, full count.
Really long at bat here. This is going to be the ninth pitch coming up. This was a batter that Kenny had been behind 3-1. 3-2 now. Swung on, grounded to short, over to second, on to first, double play, and the ball game is over.
And just as we predicted, the Jumbos go out fashionably with a biting double play. Bowdoin unable to complete one themselves, and they go down with a loss.
On the inning, 1 run on no hits, 2 errors, 1 left on base. Jumbos win this one 6-5 in a tight ball game. Superb pitching performance from Tim Saperko to start it off. Early runs given up by Vogel, Friedman, and more so the Bowdoin defense proved too much to overcome. One would think if Bowdoin had had 1 or 2 fewer errors on the afternoon, we'd be saying a different story, but here we are.
It was a good game for all. It was a close one, definitely a nail-biter, but in the end the Jumbos prevail. I definitely enjoyed myself.
We'll probably see some defensive drills for the Polar Bears before they return to Huskins Field tomorrow afternoon. The finale of the 3-game series will be tomorrow here at noon when the Jumbos go for the sweep. Will not be JumboCast. You'll be supported by the PAC Network on the video stream tomorrow. The next JumboCast broadcast will be Friday afternoon. Tufts will take on Bates in the first game of a 3-game set. And until then, it's been our pleasure to bring you 2 Jumbo victories this afternoon. I'm Bernie Birnbaum.
I'm Ben Shapiro.
And on behalf of our crew from both the early game and this one, it's been a pleasure bringing this ball game to you this afternoon. Have a good one.